At my fingertips, the 0 days wrapped in code. Step 1. Identify the target and its flaws. There are always flaws. I learned that early in life. My first hack, the local library, a vulnerable FTP server and its AS400, a far cry from the Android 0 days I'm using to own the FBI standard issue smartphone. The library was a test to see if I could even get into the system. I've since set greater goals. For instance, step 2, build malware and prepare an attack. At my fingertips, the 0 days wrapped in code like a Christmas present then becomes an exploit. The programmatic expression of my will. I live for this shit. Step 3. A reverse shell 2-stage exploit. The ideal package. Load the malware into a femtocell delivery system. My personal cell tower that'll intercept all mobile data, similar to my first time when I found myself staring at late book fees, employee names, member addresses. Everything was revealed. The secret of the perfect hack, make it infallible. Hidden within the kernel is a logic bomb, malicious code designed to execute under circumstances I've programmed. Should the FBI take an image of the femtocell, all memory will self-corrupt or explode. Step 4. Write the script. Why do it myself? Because that's how I learned and I know exactly what, when, and how it's going to run. I didn't do anything harmful my first time, just looked around, but I felt so powerful. 11 years old and in complete control of the Washington Township Public Library. Today is different. I hacked the world. Final step. Launch the attack. Once I do, I'll own the Android phone of every FBI agent in that building. I'll own Evil Corp's network, applications, everything. Domain admin. This, the thrill of pwning a system. This is the greatest I need to talk to the old sysadmin. The old IT guy set this up. There's an encrypted database on the old server I'm gonna need access to.
You want to talk to RT?
If that's his name.
I'll talk to Ray. See what's what.
Welcome to the 4 days live cybersecurity course. In this 4 days, we will be exploring a lot of things, and what we will be exploring today is the digital worlds and how the cyber attacks happened recently in 2025. So we will be having the case scenarios of 2 sessions, what that thing is. And the day 2, we will be seeing how the networks really work and the art of reconnaissance. So we will be on the day 2, we will be exploring how the networks like TCP, IP addresses, DNS, HTTP protocols, ports, and we will be exploring how these ports can be analyzed using Wireshark, a packet analysis tool. So coming down further, and we will even see like how a system communicates with another system over its network communication. For example, there is a network, local area network, and there are 2 systems communicating over the Wi-Fi or the router which is set up. we will be seeing what data, what packets, what information goes through whenever you go to a website, or whenever you search something, or whenever you browse something. Whatever the packets are going, we will be analyzing. We will be seeing what threats and what vulnerabilities those packets will be having. Further down, next on the session B, each day has a two sessions divided, and on the session 2B, on the day 2, we will be exploring the art of reconnaissance. And what that the art of reconnaissance is, we will be exploring open source intelligence. Open source intelligence is basically we use open source information which is available on the internet to totally understand our target and see how can we attack a system. Coming down next, we will be even exploring Nmap, domain analysis, learn ethical intelligence, gathering infrastructure, mapping, uncover what hackers find before they attack. Because it's very, very crucial to understand what our target is before we actually dive into attacking that system. Understanding the target is a very, very crucial and important step before we actually attack the system. Coming down to the day 3, we will be exploiting in the wild, mastering security tools like Nmap, Metasploit, Burpsuit, and we will be exploring how to analyze the networks and aggressive scans. We can make just using the powerful libraries using Nmap, Metasploit, and how we can find the vulnerabilities and craft payloads to simulate real world exploits. Further, session 3B, on the day 3, we even learn OWASP, cross-site scripting attacks, and authentication flaws which the web applications might have, and breaking the web. That's what I just call it. Coming down to the day 4, we will be seeing how red team actually dives in lateral movement. Lateral movement is basically how we dive into the depths of certain vulnerabilities and get the systems hacked. Now, coming next, we will even explore what and how we can earn through this bug bounty programs, which are openly available, which we can like solve and get something useful out of it. So this is the to sum it up all. We have the incoming topics the 4 days. Day 1, we will learn real cyber warfare, and then security mindset, network. Day 2, we will be networks unveiled, TCP, IP, DNS, Wireshark, and with Wireshark we will be analyzing packets. Session 2 is recurrent mastery, which I just said, OS and IT, the open source intelligence and map, which is very crucial to understand our target. Further, day 3, we will be having security tools like Nmap, Metasploit, Burpsuit exploitation. Day 3 second session on the day 3 have web attacks using OWASP, top 10, SQLI, access as attacks, that is cross-site scripting attacks. Day 4, we will be focusing on red team lateral movement. Lateral movement is, as I just said, we dive into the details of vulnerabilities and just try to exploit. Further, we will explore carrier and bounties using the bug bounty programs. We try Hackbox, Hack Me, there it's available, and we will see that what are the carrier parts available in the day 4 of the cybersecurity course. So, what is up for today? So today we will be exploring the real world case scenarios, what actually happened in 2025, how the governments might need to rethink how the security is even there. The recent cases are like the case scenario ones, the Bybit cryptocurrency heist of 2025. So what actually happened? North Korea's Lazarus group, which made 1.5 billion Ethereum, they just stole 1.5 billion Ethereum, and the money laundering was of around $160 million. What they just did, they targeted developers software system, and and what actually happened is, by money the 1.5 billion Ethereum they stole, they converted it into another cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and they used it for North Korea's military and nuclear operations. The exploits and the social engineering impact the exploits was through social engineering, UI manipulation, and blindsiding. What actually it is social engineering. Basically, you just for there are employees working in a company, you bypass and you manipulate the actual UI of the websites or the web applications or the users. You just manipulate it with showing authentic, and behind you're running JavaScript manipulations. What actually happened in Bybit cryptocurrency heist was these attackers, the Lazarus group, they actually got the access of the developers software safe wallet, and by that they were able to inject JavaScript codes in the UI, which was so manipulated that the actual approvals was made, but that actual approvals were fake. They were made by the Lazarus groups. Coming down, this was one of the worst cryptocurrency stolen in the history. Coming down to the next case scenario is the Russian cyber espionage May 2025. This is just right this month happened case. The Russian cyber espionage of Western firms. What it was carried out by the GRU Unit 26165 APT28, also known as the Fancy Bear. APT stands for Advanced uh, Penetration Threat. So this APT28, the Fancy Bear, this is a group of Russia which attacked the logistic companies, disrupting the supply chains and even hijacking into the live CCTV cameras to just see which companies are even supporting the Ukraine. The aid which was provided, the weapons which were given, all were tracked using IoT hijacking cameras. This was carried out by the Russian espionage on Western firms May 2025. This was so dangerous that if a logistic company is one of the recent, even another case is if such attacks are made on logistic companies and disrupt the supply chains, the medical supply might even get disrupted, which might cause which might cause life threat issues to the patients in the hospital. So this cyber attacks needs to be tackled, and this is a very crucial thing we need to learn in 2025. One of the even another case I heard of is there was in the first quarter of 2025 major cyber groups attacked on a logistic firm using advanced AI supported sophisticated malware. They're not even using AI in the cyber domain. So we need to be, all these things can be tackled if you just follow some security prevention rules. And what I would be showing you in the next few moments is how a real company performs and mitigates these threats and avoids their infrastructure to stay ahead to stay ahead of the other companies. So key insights, as I just said, cyber threats are state backed and increasingly complex. Understanding methods is critical to defense. Real world scenarios help decode vulnerabilities. Invest in layered security, awareness, and resilience. What does this even mean? Invest in layered security. Big enterprises have a dedicated team which carries out this entire stuff and maintains their infrastructure, is at least stayed out of this cyber attacks. So in real world case scenario, I would be telling you how a company would be building their infrastructure, not on a like monthly basis. They do it on a regular daily basis. There is a dedicated team which carries out the real research of what actual cyber threats are happening. For example, if there is a company who's using Windows, there is a team which checks what are the threats and the cyber attacks made on the real time basis on the Windows. So coming up next, I will be showing you how to see what actual cyber attacks are done on the real time basis. So there are a lot of sites and there are a lot of ways to actually do it, and how companies actually do is they get the information. They get the information from they get the information from this alien vault OTX and these platforms. Through that, they patch their infrastructure and mitigate those issues. For example, if there is a threat, I'm seeing here this is a cybermap.kaspersky.com where there are a lot of threats shown. For example, I click on more details. It shows the detections per second. So this shows a detailed information on what kind of attacks were made and where those attacks were made and what was the percentage even carried out. So here you can see in the world, Turkmenistan has 8%, North Korea, Cuba, Saint Martin, and it has continent based different attacks, and even it shows what kind of attacks were made in the last week. You can see a lot of on the access basis, mail antivirus, web antivirus, intrusion detection systems. So basically intrusion detection scans are the companies follow up so that nothing comes up, or like no malware can directly come up. So how do they detect that that is a malware coming from authentic source? Again, coming routing back to the same thing, they do a research. They find what are the cyber attacks and where are those coming from, like which IP addresses those scans are coming, those malwares are coming from. So for example, there is an OTX or Alien Vault platform where you can where we can find lot of information. See, this is an open source community where different contributors come up and uh, they create pulses. So pulses is basically the information. So see, this is here is a pulse. Here is a pulse which says this is the information. This is a malware, and it was threat infrastructure was majorly in Ukraine, Japan. This is the percentages it is showing, and it is because of the file hashes IPv4. This determines which IP addresses this malware can come from. So if I am building, if I am patching my infrastructure, I would be blacklisting this IP address because this IP address is like having it's from this IP address the malware is basically coming. When I authenticate this information, I can just blacklist this IP address and I will not allow this to come in. So this malware is patched in the sense. So IPv4 we can check, and there are a lot of other details we can check on, and even we can create pulses if you find any ransomware which is coming through some IP address. We can just create a pulse in up here. So once we get all of this information, we can put it up in a SIEM. What is a SIEM? SIEM. SIEM is basically a security infrastructure management system. So after getting all of this information, those people, they get the API key of this Alien Vault or similar kind of platform. They get the API key. Once they get the API key of this platform, they integrate in their SIEM. So SIEM is basically it receives all the information this platform is giving. This like what malware, which that malware is coming from which IP address. If it is a malware is a file hash or whatever type the malware is of, they kind of get what the malware is, where is it coming from, and that authenticated that authentic information which is coming from here OTX Alien Vault is passed to a dedicated management system, which is like they either the infrastructure either builds it or either use it from third parties. So once we get this information, we can strategize. The company, the team strategizes how to mitigate those threats coming from those areas. So this is how actually and threat intelligence works, and further we will be exploring more on day 2.